Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday night. I'm Tia Nat, and I have with me the amazing Dr. Michael Gross.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
We are so grateful that you show up and support us every Thursday. Michael has amazing messages to share with us, so I'll just take a minute to introduce him, and then I'm going to share. Uh, I'm going to mute myself out so that he can go ahead and speak, okay, uninterrupted. What we'll do too is we'll encourage everybody to have comments and questions, and there'll be a time when Michael will get the questions at the end of his presentation so that you'll have an opportunity to find out more about what he does and how he can help all of us, okay? Dr. Michael Gross is a professional keynote speaker, energy transformational coach, and the author of the Spiritual Primer, applying God's 12 transformational laws to reawaken your soul by reconnecting to God, the true source, to experience your true source's love, joy, and happiness. He helps you achieve an unlimited life. He's truly made a difference in my life. For over 30 years, Michael has been a spiritual teacher, a multidimensional healer, a transformational coach, an entrepreneur, but he is I believe that one of his greatest skills is how exceptionally skilled he is on all aspects of soul, oversoul, vibrations, frequencies, body timing, life force energies, and so much more. He has a plethora of knowledge and information that he draws upon to share with us today and every day. So I will put his contact information in the comments. And I'm thrilled to have this beautiful topic that Michael has brought forth to us. Okay, Michael? So go ahead, and I'm going to mute myself out, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I appreciate it. I was asking the true source what would be the best thing to discuss this evening. And as I said before, the way it works for me, sometimes I get a heads up, so to speak, a day or two before, sometimes an hour, in this case, a couple of minutes before. And can be nerve wracking, but other times you have to learn to trust. Therefore, we're going to be discussing and illustrating what are you creating. We have to realize that in our work that we do, every thought, every word has a vibration, frequency, and energy that will be created in your life. And that's so important for us to realize. Furthermore, when you're starting to manifest, every thought is a manifestation. Whether you say, I'm going to go to lunch, I'm going to have a Coke, or I'm going to sit down and rest, or whatever it is, every word is a manifestation or creation in your life. What is actually how it works and what is the power behind it? And I'm going to use metaphors. We talk about our brain, electromagnetic energy, thoughts go out there. But truly, in the art of manifestation, the art of creating your life and living your life starts within the heart. The heart is the trigger that creates the emotion, which is related to the brain, which then sends out the signal. It would be like looking at your cell phone, and here's your cell phone. And at the cell phone, it sends out a signal, but right now it's dormant because you're looking at it. So what do? You dial a number or you talk into it and it dials a number. Look at that as your heart now going to the brain. So the words you say, which is like a heart energy, goes into the phone, you dial the number, and now it goes out there and your phone rings. So differentiating, pushing the buttons or verbalizing a telephone number is the heart. It's what you so desire to create. And the phone, by the telephone number, reaches someone else, and you've created a relationship of which you are now talking to the person. This is what is occurring so much in our lifetime right now. And what is occurring so much is that there's so much anger, frustration, doubt, finger pointing, so much fear, so much anxiety. Really, why are we looking at that? What are we creating it? Well, most importantly, everyone that does any kind of communication always does not want to be a victim, always want to create a thought based upon what they believe to be true. And is it really true? Have we convinced ourselves? Have we lied to ourselves? And there's so many things going on that the beautiful thing about our country is we have freedom of speech, but do we really? So we have a small minority that, and I'm going to be bizarre here, that if you say something like if I say, I don't like Italian subs, I'm somophobic, or I don't like cherry ice cream, I'm cherry phobic, or I don't like the way your cologne, where you're chromophobic. Now I told you I'm being bizarre, but really that's what's occurring. We need to be able to express our thoughts. And sometimes our thoughts can be very hurtful. And that gives us the point, well, you know, the old thing that do unto others as you would have them to do unto you, or is what True Source said, right action and correct exchange. We are judging everything 24/7, from the air we breathe to the food we taste to our relationships to the way we drive or we purchase something. We're always judging. We have to ask ourselves, is the judgment we're making correct for you, not for anybody else? Therefore, when you're talking about someone or a situation, my suggestion is this is the way I feel about it. And these are my thoughts. Now, you could be criticized or judged by it. And then they'll call you judgeophobic or whatever. No, you just merely say, these are my feelings, these are emotions, these is what I'm expressing. Now they may counter with another thought. And my suggestion, if the shoe fits, wear it. So does it really the right thing? Does it apply to you or not? And that's what's so important. So freedom of speech, which we are part of our Bill of Rights, you have the right to judge me and call me anything you so desire. Okay. Can be very hurtful. However, you're expressing your feelings. Is that hate speech? Maybe. But at the same time, you have to be able to express it. So it's no worse than you turning around and saying, I like Jeeps, I like Chevrolets, I like Ford, I like Buicks. You know, that's a judgment. And sometimes we can be very passionate about it. But here's where the dividing comes from. The division of your thought is to say, is this the correct thought for me? Why am I expressing this thought? Now, critical thinking, and I've talked about so much, can come from your soul and from your heart to express what you believe in. And you have to take a look at it and say, well, every thought is really a judgment, which it is. It's part of your belief system. However, how do you present it? And is it being done to hurt somebody, or you want to be followed, or you want to be admired, or you want to be popular and you say certain things, but is it really your truth? It is so important for you before you express anything that it's really your truth. And you've looked at it inside, outside, left, right, up, down, backwards, and forwards to understand if this is really true. Because I will tell you, your soul, and you know when you're lying to yourself, you know when you're making stories up. And that's so important. So what has that got to do with your life? You see, if you're fooling yourself or lying to yourself, then you're not being true to yourself, which then has a repercussion. Everything has a repercussion. Okay, so if you send out love and joy, repercussion, love and joy. You send out charity and love, repercussion. Charity and love comes back to you. Send out hate in any form, comes back and bites you in your toes. So, or somewhere else. So you have to understand that you are creating your life. Are you creating your life based on the judgment of others? Or are you creating your life based on what your true inner source guidance is or soul guidance? Really important at this time because there's so much diversity of opinion and there's so much souls are looking to accuse one another of being guilty and doing something wrong. As my mother used to say, you can't say anything good about a person, don't say anything at all. Have I had people take advantage of me? Yes. Stole money from me? Yes. They've done all those things. Am I going to sit there and curse them and yell them? No. What I suggest to you when when you have the experience of being taken advantage of, you stop for a moment and you just say, I turn this situation over to the true source for right action. I'm done. Walk away and forget about it. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Something happens. Something happens. But do not be interested in knowing one way or the other. Something positive happens and they pay you back or whatever they did, you know. But if not, you need to let go of it all. Why? The reason you let go of it all is because if you're hanging on to an anger or a doubt, it's going to harm your vibrations and frequencies and energies, which then will have a physical effect. And we don't think about that. You know, he took my money, he took me, rah, rah, rah. And you get upset. High blood pressure, heart condition, ulcers, diabetes, maybe severe arthritis, maybe cancer, and all those things by hanging on to the anger. Maybe it was karmic for you to learn something. Either way, you let it go. And when you turn it over to the true source for right action, whatever is supposed to happen is happening. Maybe it'll be in 3 seconds, maybe it'll be in 5 years, or maybe whatever they did to you, it will happen to them. You may or may not know about that. But the reason I'm spending time to discuss this tonight is for you to understand that there's a major shift in vibrations and energies occurring. And in that shift of energy and vibrations that's shifting, we have to realize that are we going to live in the fear and anger and hate in the past? So whatever you think you create, you experience. Are you going to recreate it? Or are you going to walk away, say, been there, done that, I've learned something, and just move ahead? Hanging on to the anger, frustration, and doubt will cause your demise or unbalance within your life force energy and cause your body to be dis-at-ease, which is dis-at-ease, which is a disease. And you have no one to blame but yourself. It's like, well, he or she made me feel that way. No, you let yourself feel that way. Take responsibility. That's what's so important. Well, what's that got to do with what you're talking about? It creates your life. It creates your experiences. It creates ups and downs and doubts in your life. Have we all been taken advantage of? Yep. And sometimes seriously, financially for me, yep. Sometimes emotionally, mentally, sometimes in career, sometimes in relationships. But I realize all these occurred in my life to empower me to learn whatever I was supposed to learn. In other words, self-love and self-worth, self-love and self-esteem, which is, one of my themes. And that's so important for us because we're all here to grow and learn. And the quicker you learn it, the more quickly you get things out of your life and enjoy the wondrous, beautiful things in your life. I was talking to a person the other day and they were saying, well, I have to drive an hour to work. And oh my gosh, and I'm so nervous, blah, blah, blah. And he said, why are you creating the nervous? Well, it's going to cost me more gas to drive to work. I said, not really. If you're driving the highway, you're going to get better gas mileage than stop and go. I said, furthermore, do you have a choice? You're asking for your perfect job. And not only asking for your perfect job, maybe this is going to be your perfect job. And you're going to have more joy and happiness in your perfect job. Or you don't have to take it and not pay for your apartment and become homeless. It's your choice. We have to give thanks for the little things. And when we ask for something like your perfect job, perfect relationship, perfect health, et cetera, you have to realize situations will come up and say, here it is, you asked for it. Well, that's not the way I really wanted it. I want it this way. So what you think you create your experience. What's important is you ask for something to be perfect for you. So why are you blocking it? Why are you setting up roadmaps and roadblocks to stop you from achieving it? Everything happens for a purpose, and you grow and learn and become empowered. I've known people that have lost jobs, been fired, start a brand new career, and they've never been happy. But it wouldn't have happened unless they got fired or lost their job. Everything happens for a reason. And if we understand it happens for a reason, then we don't have to know the exact reason, but we have to know or feel, more importantly, believe that it's the perfect situation for me to recreate my life. And that brings us back to the old thoughts: to be in control is to be out of control. In other words, not my way or the highway. I am open to anything that appears in my life. I will look at it and feel it and see if it's correct. If not, then I'll close the door and there must be another one coming, and there always will be. Always, always, always. And it's so beautiful to think that way. How crazy is the human people? I had one client, I don't want to live anymore, all this stuff. My boyfriend dumped me or my husband dumped me, and you know what? They got very sick and they eventually died because they created that energy. They were so hurt they didn't want to live anymore. Not that, well, it didn't work out. Maybe there's something better. Maybe something more joyous. No, I want this or nothing. Congratulations. There's an old saying: argue for your limitations and you own them. Congratulations, you created it. This is what we need to understand. At this moment, at this very second of your life, I would like you all to think about, what am I creating in my life? What have I learned? What do I desire to change? And how can I find more joy and happiness? And it's there. It's so important when it's there. However, you set up rules and regulations and it can only happen one way, and then it doesn't happen. See, I told you, no, nothing works for me. One last story. I had a very good friend, and he was anxious to leave state of Washington, moving to Colorado, and my numbers may be off. He spent like $600,000 or $700,000 for the home, and it was up for sale for 3 million, 3.5 million. And let's manifest you get the perfect price. So let's say 1.3 million for the sake, and it was offered 1.25, 1,250,000 cash right now, no inspection. Nothing works for me. Everything I manifest doesn't work. Rah, 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 rah. So wait a minute. We said the perfect price and the perfect purchaser. How many people come up with that amount of money immediately with no inspection and can close within a week, and you were anxious to move and you set up the things? Why are you blocking it? And he just carried on and screamed and yelled, and of course he eventually accepted. And we kind of lost track of each other. But listen to the words. Always manifest the perfect situation, the perfect outcome. Not what your ego says, but what's perfect for your soul. That's what's so important. Leaving this thought within you, remember, you are creating your life 24/7 by your thoughts, your energies, and emotions. Starts with your heart, which creates the emotion, goes to the brain, goes out into the ethers, boom, comes back to you. Just like the example of the cell phone. I wanted to share all that with you, but before I continue, I want to give to you a moment. Is there anything that anyone has questions or anything you'd like to discuss?
I love your topic. I truly do. And I have a question. You talk about critical thinking and and I struggle with my analogical thinking. So I was wondering, most importantly, we need to listen to the thoughts of our soul because our soul guides us. So for everybody here, how do we separate those thoughts? Because for me, my analogical thinking, whatever you want to call it, it's there's some deep-rooted fears that come up when I meditate. So if you could help us with that, that'd be great.
That's a very good point.
Thank you.
Anything that comes up for you to look at that is not your expected outcome is a fear. And remember, fear, false evidence appearing real, right? That old cliche. This is the time to be introspective. What is my fear and why is it in my life? Usually, well, I don't know what it is. I can't think of it. I go, okay, spend a little time. You really know why it's in your life, why it hasn't come to the surface, and why this fear is created. In order for you to grow physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you have to face the walls that you have created in your life to understand why they're there. And they're nothing but an illusion. Yes, it can be painful, speaking from experience, and can be very hurtful. But ask always, what am I to learn from this and why it's in my life before you go to sleep? The other one is I call upon the true source, dream heaven. True source is created resources, and the true source miracle medium of love. I bless and release whatever the situation is with love for my higher and greater good. And you repeat that every minute you can. And I've done this. And then I felt a weight lift off me, and I know it's over and done with. Everything in your life you attract by your thoughts. And there's a reason why. And it could be more joy, more happiness, or to release the walls of blocks of fear and doubt, lack of self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. This is a critical period in your life. Everybody's beginning to understand this. And I've noticed some people with certain groups, they want to party, drink, and do gummy bears, whatever. That's great. And that's great when you do it that night, except you wake up the next day with a headache. The same thing is there that you run away from, and you still have to face it all over again. To empower yourself is to understand it and say, I understand it, I realize the reason, I bless and release it, and I desire it no longer needed in my life anymore. It's that simple. Remember, I've said this before. Why, I ask the true source, is spirituality so difficult? True source said, you humans make a big deal out of it. And it's true, you make a big deal. Look at it this way, I got a sliver in my finger. Ouch, 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 it hurts, it hurts. Then you pull it out. Oh, it's infected. Why didn't I do this before? Then you put a little iodine or whatever you're going to put on it and a Band-Aid, and a few days later, it's all healed. That simple. That's the message I want to pass on to you. You are the SOUL creator of your life. Nobody else. You know why there's nobody else? Because who's ever in your life, you admit them into your life, that's creating chaos. They're out there somewhere, but if you let them in, it's your responsibility to heal and remove them from your life. Any other thoughts anyone had to you before I continue?
No, Michael, I was just checking and you're good. I just wanted to add it's up to us, right? As because we are the creators of our life and in our thoughts. So if there's something there, we have that privilege to open the door and say, okay, you're not welcome here. Bye-bye.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Thank you. You warm my heart. Thank you so much for your
You're
wisdom.
welcome. Well, thank you, everyone. And I want to remind everybody that every Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, we have what we call Soul Awakening, and that's where you come on, ask any question you so desire. Hopefully I can answer it, then I deliver a 10-minute message. What's really important about all that is you may remember it, you may know it, and you may have forgotten it. Or maybe I'll be presenting something in a different way that resonates with you. Whatever it is, It's an empowerment series. You will heal. You will learn from each other. And no one's ever criticized. And you know what? We're never going to stop learning. We will learn. I've been at this many years, and I'm still learning and still learning, and we always will, because this universe needs you to awaken to unconditional love, allowingness, and non judgmental. And that comes from the true source. And realize this, there's an imprint in your cell of this whole energy, the whole universe. And where does your energy come from? It comes from the true source. That's where the energy comes from. You are part of the true source, as the true source is part of you. And look at it this way. The Pacific Ocean is the true source. And then I take a eyedropper, and I take an eyedropper's worth of water, and I take it and I place it in a little glass jar, and I seal it so it won't evaporate. Wherever I go, that little drop of water, the eyedropper, is still part of the Pacific Ocean. If I'm in the Indian Ocean, I'm in Estonia, I'm in Europe, I'm in Canada, I'm in Alaska, or I'm in a different city, that drop of water is still part of the Pacific Ocean. That's your soul. That's you. And then what happens is, when your mission and goal, whatever you came here to learn, you go back to the Pacific Ocean, and that eyedropper goes back in the position of the Pacific Ocean and blends into oneness. And you can no longer identify it. But the energy and vibration that the soul learned is shared with the true source. Because you see, through our experiences, vicariously, the true source learns and grows from us, because we have free will and true choice. And the true source does not tell us what we can do and we can't do. It's up to us. Otherwise, we never learn, because we'd always know the outcome would be perfect. So think about that. Anyway, from 6:30 to 7:30 Pacific time, Tio, tell them the telephone number that they can contact us.
Absolutely. That was such a powerful thought, Michael. I'm mesmerized. The phone number for the Tuesday night call in is 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael?
125446 #.
Again, the number 202-926-1059, and the code, Michael?
125446 #. That's so important for you, because it's on freeconferencecall.com. As I joke around, you can be in your pajamas, I'll never know, but you're going to learn and grow, or you'll be reminded. And that helps make a difference on this planet. Also, using the same telephone number, the same code, the second Saturday of every month, we do what we call as the mass consciousness healing, not only of ourselves, but the animal, mineral, vegetable kingdom on this planet and Mother Earth. And it's so important. And at the last one we did, I wanted to share, there was Jesus was there. I saw him. The archangels Michael and Gabriel and Raphael. Buddha was there. Krishna was there. A lot of our guides and angels were there, and other guardian angels were there. It's very, very powerful, and it will touch your heart. And you're doing right action and correct exchange, which means as you're sending out and sending mass consciousness, healing, and love, it's going to come back to you as well. So I encourage all of you to please do that. And that's, give it one more time, same telephone number, and the same, the same number to access the code.
Right. Okay. That number is 202-926-1059. And the code, Michael?
125446 #. Also, I want to remind everybody that on that Tuesday evening, that is called Soul Awakening, I leave a 10-minute message. I think there were 399 or 400 right now. 10 minutes, you're stuck in traffic, you're depressed, you're angry, you're upset, you're depressed, whatever. All you need to do is dial this number and you can listen to this 10-minute message. Tio, give them that information.
Absolutely. The number is 434 300 4170. And the code, Michael?
125-446-pound. One more time.
434 300 4170. And the code, Michael?
125-446-pound. Now it starts at number 3. There's a reason why I did it, and I'll talk about it some other time. Goes up to number 400. So of course they go, well, it's not indexed. I don't know what number. And when I talked to the True Source why I forgot to do that, I was told I didn't forget, because who wants to read through 400 different labels? This is where you got to learn to trust your soul. So you might say number 212 or number 147, whatever it is. And I get people say, yep, just what I needed to hear. So please take advantage of this. It's really important. Also, if you go to Dr. Michael B. Gross on YouTube, there's wonderful photography taken by the award-winning photographer, as you know by now, Tio Knapp. One of my quotes, and you'll hear me talking about whatever the subject is, so you can watch that on YouTube. It's visual by the picture and the quote, but it's audible with me talking. It's rather limited, and we will be expanding it, but please, if you so desire, to take advantage of that. It's really very important for all of you. And with the information that Tio is listed below, you can have a complimentary consultation with me, and I'll be more than happy, 20 minutes to a half an hour, and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions, but be patient, because sometimes I'm just jammed, and I will get back to you. I know there are some people that, have listened, and you may think I've forgotten about you, but I haven't. So call the number, and then what I suggest after you call, then text me the information. Text me. I am old school. You're going to text me, I'll get back to you. But sometimes I don't look at my text for a day or two or midnight, and you don't want me calling you 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And so that would be the best way. And some people get frustrated. I'm sorry, but I believe in old-fashioned things. Verbal communication. It's so important one-on-one. And the reason I do that is it gives me very clear insight, more than you realize. Hearing your voice gives me great insight about who you are, what you are, and why you're feeling the way you're feeling. So please take advantage of that. Also, I wanted to like all of you to think about one thing, and that is, now that you're creating your life, what you desire to accomplish over the next 8 years. This is being brought to you by Healing the Holes in Your Soul. Little fun there. And Healing the Holes in Your Soul by Tio Knapp. It's a wonderful story. And it's from gutter to grace, as she says it. And it's the story of the rebirth of the phoenix. Everyone, it's a must read. It's beautiful. And as I joke along, I like the guy that wrote the foreword. So please take advantage of this. It's very powerful. It's inspiring.
Thank you, Michael, for your kind words. I like the guy who wrote the foreword too, because the guy who wrote the foreword in my book is the one who wrote this whole entire book. And had it not been for him and this book and his encouragement, the book he's holding wouldn't even be in existence. I'm really, really blessed and honored that you've taken so much time to work with me through the years. I can't believe it's almost 6 years now that we've been working together. And I just wanted to let you know too, Michael, that people are sending you hearts. The comments are a little bit limited. There was somebody who had some technical issues, but they're sending you hearts, and that's powerful. So you guys definitely take a look at this amazing book. Get a nice signed copy of it. Just contact Michael or contact me, and we'll make sure that we get one in the mail to you. and definitely take him up on his complimentary consultation, because the man is the most gifted, incredible soul that can change your life. He changed mine, and I'm so, so grateful that you have Michael. Thank you for waking my soul.
Thank you for your kind words. Everyone, please share this information, have others join with us. And because as we talk about the podcast that Tio and I do on Thursdays, and then the Tuesday evening soul awakening, and of course the healing, it's so important. It is important because when you come here and you join us, your heart is being touched by the true source. Why? Because the work that we do is from the true source, and therefore the energy and vibrations are here. Tia and I work closely with the true source. You too can. And you can also kid yourself that you are or you aren't. We know that we are here to change your life, to awaken your soul. And that's our mission and goal. Everyone, we wish you a beautiful week. We wish you a beautiful day. We wish you joy and happiness and enlightenment and empowerment and the fulfillment of all the dreams from your soul, because you are unlimited. Namaste. We love you
Namaste.
all. Take care.
We love you.